But let's start with this because Portugal are facing Serbia.
Yeah.
A draw will see them through. They're at home. Cristiano's there. Bernardo's there. Ruben Diaz is there. They get the early goal. Renato Sanchez. Okay, Serbia are a good side, but even then making some changes. Mitrovic on the bench. And then what happened?
And then this is a team that has no certainties. They don't know really. They don't have an identity. They're not a defensive side. They're not an attacking side either. They don't have much when they play. They don't have much of the ball. I mean, they were beaten in possession by Serbia, and the game was in Portugal with pretty much, apart from Pepe, who was suspended, as you said, all their players fit or almost fit. A very talented squad, and yet they can't get more of the ball than Serbia, who play away from home. For me, Fernando Santos is the first responsible for it, the first one to blame. He should not be in this position. He should have gone a long time ago, probably even after 2016, because he's just not good enough. You can't have those players and play so poorly, so badly, with no direction, no structure, nothing. I mean, Renato was maybe the best player in that team because he's just capable of doing those runs on his own with the ball, but collectively there was nothing. The fullbacks, Joao Cancelo is one of the best fullbacks in the world, and in that team, he looked like the shadow of himself. He looks like his nan is playing.
We're going to get into this a little bit more, but you say it's not an attacking team, it's not a defensive team.
They don't know how to play.
I would argue this is an attacking team based on the talent that is there, based on the players that is there, based on the way that they should play. When you look at the attacking talents, when you look at obviously the fullbacks that they have, this is a team that should be playing like Spain. It should be taking the game to the opposition. But then you've got a manager who naturally is a much more conservative guy, much more and thinks safety first. I mean, Jules, they took that lead and they retreated. They invited Serbia forward. And I want to give Serbia a lot of credit because Serbia have some very, very talented players. I also don't want to come back to the absolute mental mistake of the goal. And this is what happens when you're a team. And please go on YouTube. I'm sure you can find it. This is what happens, I think, when you're not of the mindset where you're comfortable sitting back and defending, when it's not your thing. We've seen teams in the past, Italy, the stereotype of this, so they're happy, ha, ha, ha. We just sit back and go on, now, come at us. The way they lose, they don't just lose Mitrovic on the far post. They lose, Lukic is behind him. He's waving his arms. You know what he looked like? You know what, at gas stations or used car places, they have those things where they look like balloons or they look like people with arms and they're pumping up about hot air. Do you know what I'm talking about? And they wave their arms around. Lukic, there's two of them. If Mitrovic misses the ball, Lukic gets it and scores. I don't understand how that happens so late in a game. That is a complete mental breakdown. And
it is. They went to a back five because they were scared. I mean, everything, the substitution that he made, how Diogo Jota played so long, 83 minutes, when he was terrible from start to finish. It's not even like he had good moments. Bernardo, after the game on Portuguese TV, saying there was not even a spell of 10 minutes where we were better than them.
No.
It's like Serbia literally dominated them for the whole game. I mean, come on.
Obviously, elephant in the room, because we can't talk about Portugal without talking about Cristiano. Inevitably, there's going to be the sense, is this, obviously they still have to go through the playoffs, where, by the way, Cancelo will be suspended for the playoffs, and somebody else.
For the first game.
Is this a game where we expect Cristiano to do more just because I don't think he was on his game. I don't think he had a great game. I don't think he had the support. I think Cristiano needs players around him, right, to be effective. Either that or somebody who is a real speedster and a real threat if you're going to play on the counter. He had neither of those. He lined up initially on the right wing with Diogo Jota through the middle. I mean, I almost felt like, oh, look, he's popped up late so many times, he'll do it again. And he did have a chance late with when I think it was João Felix who came on, set him up. Is this kind of unfair to Cristiano?
It's just the expectations are so high. It was the same against Ireland, where he had a header wide, but no service whatsoever. He was too isolated. And again, we go back to Santos. Of course, you can say Cristiano could be the problem at his age. He doesn't run as much as he used to. All of that, okay, but still, he's an incredible player and finisher. It's down to the manager to make sure that he gets the service, the crosses, the chances. But that setup was wrong from the beginning.
Here's the uncomfortable question, though. We always assume Cristiano, because he's so important to the team, and because he was effectively coaching them in the final year 2016, everything he jokes about. Wouldn't Cristiano have the clout to go to Fernando Santos and say, listen, this is how we need to play, this is what we need to do, this is the approach that we need to take?
I would think so, but I don't know the relationship they have. I don't know if Santos' message still goes through the dressing room, what Jose Font think, what Pepe think. You know, those big players, experienced player, you know, think of what he's saying, because they might just say, you know what, you're talking rubbish here. They might not agree with what he wants them to do, the way he sets them up, all of that. This is a big issue. That's
I'm sorry. Listen, I think there has to be a hierarchy. There has to be a coach who's in charge. But equally, if you have Cristiano at this stage of his career, you have to have the intelligence and the humility. And I always assumed he kind of did, to allow Cristiano to dictate the approach.
Yeah.
Because Cristiano's a one-off, right?
Yeah, no, I agree with you. But for all the coaches, the great coaches that Portugal is producing, to have still Santos in charge.
It is extraordinary.
Mishmash. And by the way, I predicted Serbia to go through and to win. So come on.
Yeah.
Crystal ball here.
It's that special French-Serb connection.
Well, thank you very much for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for live streaming, premium content, and let's not forget as well, ESPN FC 7 days a week. Subscribe to ESPN+.